How's my hair? Hello, everybody. I've got the binaural audio microphone, so mic check, right, left, right, left. Should be stereo for this. Hopefully, these microphones are better than the regular phone microphone. A lot of my subscriber people, friends, viewers have come in and said, "Oh, it sounds like complete dog shit. You need to improve the sound of everything." So I'm trying new microphones, so hopefully that goes well. Let me adjust some of my stuff here. So today we're gonna try and browse through some of the what did I do with my phone? I just had my phone, right? Yes. We're gonna try and browse through some of the details for the audio fests. So Montreal Audio Fest is in about a month. Montreal Audio Fest starts in March 20th. And then after that, about 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, Axpona is in Chicago or Schaumburg, Illinois. So it's just outside of Chicago, Northwest. And Axpona is one of the biggest, say, most rooms, probably the most rooms out of any show. It might also be one of the more expensive shows to actually sign up to. So I don't know what the specs are and stats, but anyways, Axpona is a really, really large hi-fi show that happens in Illinois, just outside of Chicago every year. I'm 99% sure I'm going to go. I had a friend of mine reach out and talk to me about sharing accommodation, so that way the Airbnb costs and my accommodation costs are way down, which means it makes Axpona more like it's going to happen. So that's amazing. Hello to Mirage Bryston for tuning in early. Thank you very much. To everybody else who's tuned in and maybe doesn't know who the hell I am or what I'm doing, my audio channel is about sharing things in the community as much as we are human beings, as well as any of the technologies and things that might be confusing or details or perspectives on the system, how they work together, how to get the best sound out of it, and the human perception of better, as it's a subjective thing. My channel is basically focused on psychology as well as sound technologies. So we try to blend things up here. We talk about each other, human beings, how our brains and minds work to bring a community together around the hobby, and then also technical stuff about the stuff. So like there's a 1%, there's always a 1% chance. What's up? What's up, Joe? True voice of reason is here. Welcome. Hello, everybody. So let me just, the first thing that I want to do, then stick around to like maybe the half hour mark. I'm going to do some music scrolling. This might get copyright strike, I don't know, or copyright music, whatever, but there's an artist that I fell in love with a long time ago. Actually, one of the, no, not, if I can find the video, I'll let you know about it. But the name of the artist, if you want to look it up ahead of time, I'm going to play some music here a little bit later. It's an instrumental sort of metal guitarist. Very interesting soundscapes. He's very, very good at creating like a vibe or a mood. And I used to listen to him like 10 plus years ago. So he just released a new song. I've never even heard it before, and I want to play that later on. But first, we are going to go through the audio shows. So on my phone here, while I'm recording on my other phone, how spoiled am I? I want to look up if they've released the exhibitor list for the Montreal Audio Fest yet. And you'll have to forgive me, I do have a bit of a headache today. The temperatures have changed here in the city. It's warmed up quite a bit, but it's also very windy right now. So it's playing havoc on my head. View the floor plan. We've been through the floor plan before. I want to see visitors, exhibitor list. Okay. It is visible now. Cool. All right, so let me flip my camera around. The hi-fi headroom says it's 25C here today. You know what, man? Shut up. You don't got to show off like that. We know you're in Florida. God, are you still getting the falling iguanas? All right, let me flip my camera around and we'll have a look at the exhibitor list. True voice of reason, the hi-fi headroom. All right, gonna try to do my best not to add any pops and crackles on the phone. Let me lean back into my chair here. Now lizard burgers, nice, nice. Okay, so here's the exhibitor list with the rooms added in. Isoacoustics, Yamaha, Win Audio, True North, Tricell, Tough Nut, Totem, of course. The Sound Choice, Luna Cables, love these guys, great people. SPL, great brand. Stereo Group, but with French accents. Spill the Beans, that's an awesome name. Sultanas Acoustics, Soul-Fi, great group of people. Sound United, of course. Soul Ultime, Solid Meuble, I'm not French, forgive me. Sennheiser, Solene, Soul Audio, nice. I'm glad that he's doing his own space. Saturn Audio, Rega, of course. Pure Project Audio, that's nice. PS Audio, Planet Whole Fieldy. I'm not French. Forgive me. And Mirage is gonna be like, what the fuck? I'm so bad at French. Phonograph, Passion Audio, Paradigm Anthem. I will skip this room. I have my reasons. Nordost. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'll go in. Depends on who's there. Oracle Audio Technologies, Noble Audio, Motet Distribution, of course, Moon. I'm looking forward to this room again. Mono Stereo. Is this going to be Thomas in stereo? Mono Stereo? That's really weird. Martin Logan, Mako, nice. I'm glad to see that they're going to be out there with their own room. That's cool. Lux Sound, Lin, that's very interesting. Libere Resonance, LeMay Audio, Liberté Audio. This is the dealer in Canada for SVS. Pixel Castle's here. What's going on? Kevro International. Yes, this is always Monitor Audio, Rotel, that kind of thing. JVC Kenwood Canada. Joseph Crow's bringing his stuff out there. Cool. Inuos always has a big room. Let me see. Hi-Fi Man Canada, Hi-Fi Pro, Hagel America. That's awesome. Harken Audio is going to be in Montreal. Cool. Heaven 11, amazing. Harmonia Distribution, Grim Audio, Grado Canada. So this is all brands. That's awesome. Gershman Acoustics, Gentech, Gensum, Forte Art and Music, Center Hi-Fi, Feel Canada. We've got some pretty cool DACs that are out now. Filtronic Son or Essentia Technologies, great people there. Ever Solo's got their own room, or at least they're displaying somewhere. Eon Art Canada, Irvana Fest, which is a giant room of headphone stuff. Devore Fidelity, interesting. Cardis, of course, probably supplying most rooms with stuff. Cafe Audio, Cabas, Bryston, Bucard. Bucard Audio is going to be in one of the rooms. That's good. I wonder what they're going to show. Hopefully it's the E50s. If the E50s are there, I'm going to be happy. Bliss Acoustic, Audio Sensibility, Axiom, nice, which will probably be paired with Bryston. Audio Technica, Audio Phillies, which is like a female and audio thing. Audio Note UK, of course. Audio Group Denmark, Montreal 5. That's going to be a great room. Altitudo Audio, great to see those guys again. And then, yeah, just a few others. My arms are hurting here. Asona, Artist Cloner, very excited to see this room. And then, of course, Annie Bison. Okay, now my arms hurt. Oh, I went through that pretty fast, guys. I'm sorry, but I had to. You know how it is. Oh, apologies. My arms hurt. My arms hurt. List is looking good. Yeah, I have not seen the Tampa show list this year. Last time I looked, it was not list. The list isn't complete. That's weird. I mean, Montreal is more than a month from now, just a little, and the Florida show should already have their list out. You know, be professional. Yes, guys, the pizza pants are back. What's up? You guys like pepperoni on your pizza? We're silly around here. There's no point in taking life too seriously. It's not like you're gonna get out alive. Just been taking it easy. Last few days I wasn't feeling that well. So happy Wednesday, everyone. Congratulations, you made it halfway. We still have to do 3 more days of work. One of those days for me is going to be meeting my HR managers. They're understandably concerned about some of the days that I've had off. And I don't blame them, but I mean, being sick the way that I am is so unpredictable and it's so consistent that I don't even know what to do about it. So I'm hoping that they understand and we meet in the middle on some possible changes. I might have to do either maybe a shift change, maybe some other things that they have in mind. I don't know. So nothing in Florida is professional. Been back there 3 months from Poland and I'm still in a state of confusion. Yeah, interesting. I've never been to Europe, but from my understanding, a lot of the stuff there is taken a lot more seriously. Well, I don't include the UK in Europe. You guys might be able to place a thought to that idea, but let's not dwell on politics. We've been down too many of those roads here. Let's not talk about it. Say no old man's workbench on that list. I won't be there. Old man's workbench, that's your brand. That's awesome. Don't have anything to show anyways. Yeah, well, Montreal is also pretty far, right? So maybe one of the other shows. But yeah, that doesn't mean that somebody else can't display it for you. Arkham Asylum now, basically. Yeah, that's what I think of the UK also. They had some undercover villains move in and change the politics, and all of a sudden the entire landscape changed. Very, very strange. Hi-fi scene in Poland is quite awesome. Yes, so that I've heard. The Warsaw show was amazing. So remember, you don't have to explain any medical leave or other than just you were sick and hand them a doctor's note. Yeah, I have more than just a doctor's note. I have a lot more than that. I have documented chronic disease, documentation, paperwork. They have everything on file. So I guess in that sense, I'm not that afraid of it, but they're going to want to change something up and it might be a good time for me to start exercising some differences. So here's some of the personal stuff. Let me get into a little bit of this. Put some of the stuff in the background. I don't know if you guys like seeing the ceiling or the speakers behind me. It's kind of hard to do because I'm on an angle, but the personal side of things for me, before we browse the Axpona list, and hopefully the sound is not crackling. This little USB thing keeps moving around. For me, maybe one of the decisions is to change my shift. A couple years ago, I was doing afternoons. Right around the time that I started the channel, started to take it a little bit more seriously. my afternoon shift was 4 p.m. to 2 in the morning on that afternoon shift. So I wasn't around in any of the evenings except for Fridays. And then Fridays, on some of those days that it changed, most people would remember me from my Instagram reels last year when I was walking home from work or bike riding sometimes, and I would hold the camera up in my hand and then just film on my way home. All those reels are still on Instagram. Instagram has got more reels probably than all of YouTube so far. And I don't think I can grab all those and then move them to YouTube. It would be such a hassle. I should do it, but it was kind of, it's complicated. I don't think I can migrate all the video footage. I like the sound of Rice Krispies, yeah, with marshmallows in it. Like when you press on them before they get hard. Such an amazing thing. So anyways, well, here's my debate. If I go back to afternoons, I won't be doing these lives anymore. Not at this timeline, and I won't be around for most of the evening. If I do lives, it'll be like after midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is not going to be very good for anybody, unless you're in Europe and you're just waking up like 5, 6 in the morning in Europe, or a little bit later in Australia and India with different timelines. Maybe what I could do if I'm on afternoons is stream in the afternoon, but then it would be really difficult to actually catch everybody at the right time. So that's just the big thing about lives is the majority of my audience is in the US. It says so in my analytics. Armand Sentia says, good morning. Cool. Where are you in the morning? Where is it morning where you are? It's 6 here, so 6 and change. You've got to be east of India. Armand, maybe Middle East? I'm guessing Philippines. Okay. So it's going to be like what, 10 in the morning there? 9, 10, maybe a little bit more. I'm just guessing. And I work with a lot of wonderful Philippine people. They're amazing, hilarious. Most of them can't stop singing. I love that about some of them. The guys are like, they always tell me, like, as soon as it's September, BER, October, November, everybody starts singing Christmas songs. It's amazing. I mean, for me in North America, it's a little bit early. But for them, like the culture, the spirit of everything, they're always singing stuff like that. You could just hear people down the aisles just singing songs and stuff. 7:30 a.m. So we're about 12, 13 hours, about 13 hours off, I think, because it is military time. You can read it backwards. Albino Belgium, welcome. Well, it's pretty really late night in Belgium. Belgium's got to be like what, 2 in the morning? So 12:30. So that's exactly 6 hours off. Okay, well, thank you everybody for tuning in. What I want to do after I'm discussing this thing with work, like this shift change and trying to get my health organized, you know how it is, like if you have anything going on with your stomach, or if you're sensitive to foods, or if you have a specific diet, something changes, sometimes your body just overreacts to things. Well, in my case, it's a little worse than IBS and IBD. I have Crohn's disease, and Crohn's disease is like an autoimmune inflammation type bowel condition. So anything that I eat, it could be gluten, it could be spices, it could be dairy, lactose, could be certain, like too much fiber or not enough fiber. I mean, like I'm looking at the narrowest of windows in order to just function well. My head, my body, everything. And so work being 5 days a week, you have to be there on time, do your work, put your head down, shut up, move your hands. Stupid labor work. It's mind-numbingly boring, but I need to be there. With the same with most work, but in my case, now I'm looking at options because obviously in my current state, sometimes it's not really good for labor work. So I have to be careful on how I'm managing myself. I have 2 different specialists coming One I already have, another one for diet is on the way. So I have to think about what's the best way to do it. Is I'm spilling my guts out here, and Armand's like, "How many amps you have?" So insensitive. I have four. I have four monoblocks. It's not a union job, no. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into it, but that's something that's on the list to do. So, all right, let's look up Axpona list, and I'm going to try to scroll through the Axpona list a little bit differently because that was a little bit hard on my arms. And my left shoulder is still an issue. And now I'm going for an MRI for my shoulder. Go figure. And I've got a runny nose. I'm like on the border of being sick. Exhibitors by alphabet. View brand list. Okay, let's get on to the Axpona list. Again, with anything that's a little more personal and updates and stuff, you guys know where to find me on Discord. We can talk offline. All right, so let's do from that view. You guys can still see me there a little bit. All right. So Axpona list. 6.4 audio, that's headphones. MoFi Altec Well Pleased. That's an interesting name. Amped, that's pretty cool. Add Power, High Water, VK Music, AGD Productions on the 7th floor. That's cool. That's the same. AGD Productions is the same Ganfet tube type of amps that Jay-Z Augie has. AIM Kermis Kermis Audio, Sierra Sound, YG, Amped again, ATC, that's really cool to see. Atom speakers, ATS, playback distributions in a lot of spaces. Audio Group Denmark and Next Level, they're having 2 different rooms. They should probably have a very, very big announcement. Actually, hang on till after this. I'll show you an image that they have. AccuPhase, Axis, Master Artist Audio, Monacoustics. Pretty good stuff there. Western Acoustics. Accuton, that's really weird. Oh, because it's like sales. Yeah, that makes sense. Acora Acoustics, Audio Research, and VAC. Acoustic Energy with Fidelity Imports. That's a lot of rooms. Say temp change will affect the nose like that. Yeah, I think that my nose is irritated for something. Altec Lansing's still around. Yeah, pretty cool. Armand is just sharing. I use a Pioneer amp, but inside a DIY or upgrade. That's cool. Pioneer's pretty good stuff. It's a very different product over Toronto and Montreal. Huge show, yeah. Axpona is massive. But also different brands. A lot of US and Europe brands are there, and we have a lot of Canadian brands on our shows, obviously. Advanced Paris, playback distributions. You guys can see whatever's on screen. Also, this is on their website if you really want to get into it. Aesthetics, very nice gear. ADAS cartridges. Albedo Audio, Mimic Audio. That's a pretty cool brand. They've got some nice speakers. I find the Toronto show too big. Couldn't imagine Axpona. Axpona is at least twice as big as Toronto. Yeah, it's the Axpona. When I get down there, I'm going to try to do the best videos I can, probably 4 different parts, because there's a massive ground floor, a massive secondary floor. Then there's lower floors and upper floors, 3rd and 4th floor, or 4 and 5. I don't remember how it's separated. And then there's a 7, 8, 9, 10. It's fucking nuts. It's a lot. I might have to do it floor by floor for each video. But I mean, that's the fun of it. That's why I'm going. Anthem, Antipodes, Audio Limited, Apex Designs, Aragon. So this must be the vendor. This must be the brand. Arundel Sound is going to be there. What the fuck? Wow, that's interesting. I have never seen them display at a show. That's really, really interesting. Aratai Audio, Woo Audio, very nice stuff as well. Artesian Audio, such a nice word. I love this word. So I've had True Voice of Reason says there's a large expo space near me. I wish they'd have something like that here. Closest they have is a music expo, lots of records mostly used. Well, they did have a show in like New York, New Jersey recently, right? But it was pretty small as far as I know. Armand says, yeah, lots of amps out there. Yes, absolutely lots of amps. These are my amps here. I decorated them with the wrap. I covered them up with carbon fiber wrap. So the front is red, the top is gray. I did those at Christmas. My video for that is available on the channel. You could look it up. Let's see. Atlas cables, Potpourri acoustics. Very cool. Atoll, Audis, Audio Flight, Infidelity imports, of course. Audience, Audio Note UK, Audio Physics. Very, very good brand. If you guys don't know Audio Physics, check them out. Very, very good engineering. Oh dear, there's the amps. Oh dear. Get the buck out of here. Audio Research, Quintessence, the Ultra Fidelis, Vandersteen Audio, nice stuff. Audio Technica. We're only in the A's, people. Oh my god. I'm not gonna go through all of these. Audio Quest, look at all these rooms. Supplying lots of brands and places with their wires. Anyways, scroll through the list. You guys want to see, like, there's... Look at this. I'm not going to read through all this. We'd be here for 7 hours. Oh, audio. Check out Axpona. It's going to be... There's the dates. If you guys are interested. I should be... Look at this, copyright 2025. You're a year late. Update your shit. There's the address. Cool. Yeah, let me look up some surprise. I want you guys to see this. I didn't think that this was going to be visible for a while, but it turns out like these guys are showing it off early, and I'm going to showcase it here. Check this speaker out. Do I even need to say anything? Does anybody want to guess what this is? You guys can see the brand, where they are. Like, that's crazy. Pixel Castle says crazy. Oh, that's for the amount of stuff. They need to make it 4 days, yeah, or like a week. Beast Mode Boris and Larry's here. Yes. BMB. I mean, we might be able to pitch that to those guys. They're not against it. I mean, their base module's already BBM. Boris and base module. BBM. I was like, yeah. You're one letter off from a big joke. Take it easy. But you guys, I don't know that everybody's ready for this. Like, this is going to be truly wild. So what are they, like 7 feet tall? Yeah, more than that. I think they're 7.5. Could be. What happened to the... What happened to this? Is he okay? What's going on with this hair? This doesn't even look like a real person. Ah, Tyler. What happened, bro? I think he just took a winter hat off. He must have just, hair's fallen out of the ponytail or from the hood or something. That's yeah, sorry. I don't mean to do that, but that's funny. It doesn't even look real. It looks like it's AI. So what's another 6 inches between friends? I mean, I have a joke for that, but I'm not gonna say it. Hairstyle, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, that's some exciting news there. I don't know what to make of that. I didn't think that that was gonna get revealed until much later on. That's yeah. I'm no one to talk about hairstyles. Look at me. My forehead goes back to the middle of my skull. Are you kidding? I can't have hair now. What is this? I shouldn't even have this much. Um okay, so we're all caught up as far as Montreal Audio Fest, Axpona, personal stuff that I talked about, the new surprise from Borison. Okay, so what's next? So I wanted to talk about some music. It's about half hour now, so it's about time to talk about the artist that I mentioned, um, Joe. That's called Symmetry. No. You see how it's like less here and more over here? That's not symmetry. That's like half my head. The fuck? I'm not. No. So we're gonna move on to a sound demo. Hopefully you guys can hear very well. Where's this album? God damn it. This one. The artist name is Chimp Spanner. Come on, true voice of reason. You know what I'm saying? Chimp Spanner. How amazing is that? I love it. So this album is called All Roads Lead Here, and I believe this is the second or maybe third on his list. Really amazing stuff. So this came out in 2012. So more than 10 years ago. Like 14 years ago. IR Mechanic, yeah. So we're going to listen to some of that album, and then we're going to listen to some of the newest stuff. Is that cool? And then you guys, if you're watching on a TV, you're probably not going to get the best stereo sound out of this. I mean, it's cool for my voice. If your TV and everything is connected to a stereo, let's just do a sound check. I know it's going to be back and forth from what you're listening to, but this is the right. This is the left. These microphones are binaural, so if you listen to it on headphones, you're going to get a sense of my space. And I want to play these samples now before it gets really late and it really irritates my neighbors. And I try to be respectful and scheduled and predictable because everybody has a life and everybody has to wake up for work in the morning. So let me wrap this up. We'll listen to some music together. Flip the camera around. We'll get the view of the system. Then I will sit basically in the middle as we listen. So now I'm going to try to connect my iPad to the system here. Everything is, yep, dialed in. So there's the artist, if you guys want to know. Chimp Spanner. I believe he is a UK resident. So I'm going to start with this one. Might surprise you. This is At the Dream's Edge. And now this might get copyright flagged, so thank you to Chimp Spanner for the music, and let's give it a listen. Yeah, Spanner as a surname. It's not really his surname. That's not his real name at all. It's sort of like laid back instrumental metal-ish kind of music. Yeah, very, very progressive metal-ish. And it hasn't even really kicked in yet. Do you guys not get the name yet? Chimp Spanner? Come on. Genesis, yes. Gentle Giant, yeah. Marillion. What, do we really have to censor out Monkey Wrench? There's no vocals. Yeah, there's no vocals. I mentioned at the beginning of the song, on a lot of his albums, there is no vocals. He's a instrumentalist guitarist, so it's just him on the album. Programs and writes everything himself. Let's do one more. This is from the album that I was just showing. This one's called Cloud City. So that's just like the vinyl that I have. Definitely like Dream Theater without vocals. Yeah, exactly. Or like Animals as Leaders. But the thing is, this was 2012, and the other album was even earlier than that. So Chimp Spanner was doing it before anybody else was doing it. And that's why I really appreciate him. Pretty cool guy. So you lean to more streaming now over vinyl and CDs. Yes, mostly because for Hi-Fi Headroom, the reason is streaming allows me to do like copyright kind of music, and it's easier for me to access it. And most of the CDs I have are copyright, and I don't want to put them in the video all the time. So I don't have a turntable. So yeah, it's very, very progressive metal. You guys will like this next section a little bit. Yeah, Pixel Castle. That's the main reason why I'm doing it, is so people can find new artists. 100%. Pretty cool stuff, right? It's not like that Lorna Shore sound. I'm gonna back that down. Some of the Lorna Shore vocals can get very aggressive. A lot of people don't really like that kind of vocals because it is harsh. It's hard to listen to. It can sound purposefully scary. I mean, they're trying to be a little bit, they're trying to be extreme. So with the vocal range, they're also trying to do that. This kind of music, because it's got very clever progressive metal sounds, but there's no vocals, you can listen to it a little bit easier. You can get into the kind of like the atmosphere that's created, especially with an artist like Chim Spanner, because he does things in such a different kind of way. Pliny is also the same. Animals as Leaders is kind of the same, a little bit more aggressive in timing wise, but similar kinds of artists. For instance, this section. Very, very heavy metal sounds on that album. He was one of my favorites, definitely still holds a ground to that spirit. I love what he's doing. So now we're gonna play the new one. This is the newest song, Autogenesis. Just dropped today. You can see that. Brand new. I haven't even heard it yet, but I know that when he releases something, it's going to sound very special. So let's see what happens. Let me respond to some of the questions here first before I move on. Don't want to ignore you guys. I do appreciate everybody who comes by to comment and talk. That's the main reason why I stream, is to have interactive conversations. The whole reason why I'm online is not to speak my mind. I mean, I am just one person. Building a community is more important in my mind. Hi-Fi Headroom says, I'm moving that way myself and quality is absolutely great, especially with Spotify lossless and Tidal with downloading playlists and CD quality. Yes, it can be very good. Of course, the DAC and everything else is going to improve or maximize on that. But as we were saying in Pixel Castle, and a couple of people convinced me that depending on the genre that you're listening to and the era of music, some of the old pressing vinyls, listen to me, the vinyl records from back in the day that were mastered for vinyl probably retain more of their originality and authenticity than do the digital versions, even if it's DSD copied. Now it's very, very minor, and you're gonna need a very good stereo system in order to hear those differences. but there are vinyl differences and things like that for things like mastering processes, which I can see to the point. I can see it being technically true and objectively true. True Voice of Reason says, used to use Yahoo Radio to find new artists. Well, I used to use streaming radio on Winamp. Winamp PC programs used to have like shout radio or streaming radio, and that was amazing back in the day. Had near 10,000 ratings, so I'd never hear certain artists, and then they took it away. Yeah. Hi-Fi Headroom. Lorna Shore vocals are incredible. Yeah. I mean, you think about it, it's a human being doing those sounds. And there are two other groups I can point you towards that also have crazy vocals. But I'm also impressed with like Lorena McKennitt and Andrea Bocelli, right? It's still a human being voice, but two extremes, right? One being very sensual and romantic and detailed and operatic. And on the other hand, you're talking about like animal guttural sounds that are like almost inhuman in Lorna Shore. Will Ramos is just like a mutant. Really, really cool stuff. So I have a lot of old school first pressing albums, UFO, Police, but streaming's easier. But yeah, so Pixel Castle's got to be listening to Chon, right? Tell me I got that one right. Chon. That's got to be one of them. That's what I would consider stoner metal. When I was younger, we would sneak cassettes, recorders into some show. Yeah, that's really cool. Ramos is incredible. All right, guys, let's strap in. Let's listen to this one from Chimp Spanner, then we'll move on. This is Autogenesis. I have no idea what this is going to be like, so let's hang on for this one. Autogenesis in binaural audio. Oh yeah, that feels good. Very vibey. I like it. Ooh. Goosebumps. Yeah, it's definitely an eight string tuning for sure. Oh, I like that. That's some metal right there. very cool atmosphere in the middle. Now the question is, what does he do? Does he break it down? Does it get heavier? Is there a solo coming here, maybe? 80s solo, yeah. A little bit low, a little bit more modern, but yeah. Some really good bass rumbles there. Yeah, I did say that he was really good at making atmosphere. No, that's really interesting. It's fading out with 30 plus seconds left. So instead of dropping like that modern sort of, you know what I mean, that modern predictable, he's actually faded it out. That's really cool. Well, shout out to Chimp Spanner, man. That's some really cool music. I'm glad that he's still at it. Here I am 14 years later, still listening to his music. That's pretty awesome. What did you guys think of the song? It's actually pretty, caught me a little bit off guard. It's a little reminiscent to another band that I actually really like by the name of Meshuggah. At the time, of course, most bands were pretty much influenced by his music, by Meshuggah's music. I have a bunch of their vinyl as well. Some of the craziest stuff on the vinyl. I don't know if I've shown you, but I will show you again. Hold on a second. I have to do this carefully because the headphones are attached to me this time. Yeah, Meshuggah was one of those bands that I discovered in like 2008. I was like 18, 19, and I heard them at the time. Like I was browsing somewhere. I saw an album. I thought it looked really, really crazy. And I thought, you know, this is a band that I could probably get into. I started listening to it, but it wasn't really easy to listen to. Their music is not soft. And Meshuggah has more complicated, not really, it's more subtle polyrhythms than Tool. Now, Tool has them, but Meshuggah is like a heavy version of it, and they hide the polyrhythms behind some of the stuff. So my first album from Meshuggah was Chaos Fear. Chaos Fear was, I think, 2008, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of their other albums. Check out the artwork. This album's called The Violent Sleep of Reason. And a lot of their stuff is both political and intellectual. And some of the songs deal with stuff like consciousness, awareness, our state of minds. They're very metaphorical writers. Even though you can't really understand what they're saying in the songs, they're very metaphorical writers and deep thinkers. So they're both technically and musically deep as well as lyrically deep. So even though, and this is the really weird thing about metal and judgment and personal taste and sounds, is at first, even me as a metal fan, I used to listen to all kinds of metal when I was young, when I arrived at Meshuggah, my mind was not ready to absorb what they were doing because I couldn't quite understand the timing, didn't know the lyrics, I couldn't grasp what was going on. But once it started like clicking in and that beat started like, you could really feel what they were doing, and I never let go. And Hi-Fi Headroom there, let me go back and see some stuff here. Say Meshuggah's awesome. True Voice of Reason says Meshuggah's some good stuff, yo. Meshuggah tuning the band almost exclusively the half step down. So it's like 8 strings in like B flat tuning. Yeah. I did see them live 4 times. VIP booths on the last 2 times. Trust me. They're amazing stuff. Hi-Fi Headroom is pointing out Destroy Erase Improve. They use 7 strings, yes, but tuned down. That's right. So back in the earlier days, before they released, even Chaos Sphere was 7 strings. It didn't go to 8 strings until Nothing. And Nothing was such an influential album to me that I eventually want to get the album cover tattooed on my back. Hold on a second. That's not the one. Oh, come on. There it is. So this is the blue version of it, but the original cover was orange. So check that out. Check that face. And the title of the album there, the word Nothing, is carved out of the spaces in the negative space. You see that? It's backwards, but you can kind of see it. So that's the artwork that I want to get across my back. So probably scaled down and then the V shape. Anyways, crazy artwork. I love this album. What else did I have on my list? Did I say I was going to play anything else? I got totally sidetracked by Meshuggah. I can't play their music would definitely get me copyright. The Chimp Spanner stuff might as well, even though I bought the album today. Maybe I'll just write him and see if he wants to get me whitelisted or whatever. Then I'll play his music all the time. Yeah, there's a new album out. This is the newest album, the Meshuggah one, the Immutable. It's called Immutable, but it's the newest version. It's a 2025 remaster. Some of the sounds are just absolutely great. But let me play one that most of you might not know. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going to need to look it up by artist. Bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't find the track. Come on, it's got to be on here somewhere. That's crazy. Hold on, it's got to be on EPs. Let me see. Discography, EPs. No. Are you kidding me? I'm going to have to... Some of it's like a rare track, but I don't know where they would have hid the song. Hold on, I have to look it up by name. Oh, there it is. Follow along if you can, boys and girls. Oh, I hope none of you have heard this before. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna get copyright flagged for all of this stuff. That's Futile Bread Machine, the campfire version. That's the classics, the classics of Meshuggah just being silly and having fun with their own music. They did a cover version of their own songs. It's so funny. So they're really funny guys. If you see their live videos from like tours back in the day, you'll see that they're always joking around with each other off screen. And the video for New Millennium Cyanide Christ is them in a tour bus and they're singing into cameras. Like you've got to absolutely see the video. I can maybe find some of it in a YouTube video, but I encourage everybody to go and check it out. If you haven't seen their videos and you don't know much about the band, please look it up. Please look it up and enjoy yourself. Learn a little bit more about what their music is, and then give it a bit of a chance, and then you'll see what we all love about the band. Here's a bit of that video. Let me see. So that's them. They're in a tour bus. So that's, yeah, you get the point. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen it, go and check it out. There's a big reason why they're my number one influence metal band for my whole life. They mean so much to me musically that it like redefined my love for music, because they opened a doorway to polyrhythmic sounds and layered feel in music that I was never really responsive to before. Jazz music never appealed to me. Certain kinds of polyrhythmic, sort of like Rush, Yes, other kinds of bands had this sound, but I didn't really get a feel for it. I mean, even Master of Puppets is in 7/8 in some cases, but it didn't feel the right way until I heard Meshuggah. So Meshuggah is a big influence. Also on Chimp Spanner, as far as I know, some of the songs actually sound very sort of punctuated the same way that Meshuggah writes, except Chimp Spanner's got a lot more atmosphere in his music. So that's a little bit of a history of music on the back end of this video now. And thank you for joining me for an hour. I'm going to leave you with that thought, and I hope that you enjoyed that inside info into music and into different artists and sort of like how it blends together in a way. If I can introduce you to a new band, one band every week, we're going to be in some really good territory, because new music is like the best thing to share. Our gear, we can't share. We can't always sit together. We can't always hear each other's systems. We can share opinions, but sharing music that we can all access to, we can stream, we can buy the albums, buy the records, that's really special. So I hope to share more music with everybody soon, as well as photos and videos from the shows that are coming up. I appreciate you guys that are here. Say, cheers, man. Take it easy on HR. No, I want to work with them because I understand their position too. I want to be um, understanding when they're understanding. And I mean, there's some things that I don't quite understand, but I don't know that it's on the same topic. So I have to go in there just trying to keep it on one topic, one fight at a time, right? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for being here and joining in. No music at the end of this one. I'm just going to let it go because I think some of these songs are already copyright flagged for me, and I don't really want to let them have it, but sometimes I got to let them have it. So thank you very much for being here, Mirage Bryston, the Hi-Fi Headroom, for True Voice of Reason. Nick wasn't here today, was he? Andrew was here. Hi, what's this all about? Andrew's a little bit late. Silman, we've been online live now for an hour. If you want to rewatch it and give me a comment and a suggestion for next time, that's how I'll reward you for showing up and being here. We scrolled through Montreal audio playlist. We scrolled through Axpona's vendor list. We listened to some new songs. I am listening in binaural audio. So these are left and right microphones. So that's what we did sort of in the last hour. Rewatch, comment, leave a suggestion maybe. Let me know what you think. Stick around if you want. Thumbs up and subscribe maybe next time if I do a good job. Or you could just give me thumbs up for the pepperoni pizza pants that I have on. I'll show you my audio system since you're new. KEF-R11 Metas SVS subs. Those are Purify module monoblocks from Buckeye Audio, but I've wrapped them in carbon fiber. The mirrors there so you can see the back of the systems, not just my pants, honestly. Because like, look, I do this, you can see how it's plugged in, right? That's what it's for. Because if I demo stuff, I don't want to move the speakers around. And then for streaming, the Eversolo DMP A8, Rotel CD player, and a Michi P5 player there. So I've got CDs, I've got some vinyl, but no vinyl player yet. We're working on it. Yes. So I think that's enough for me. Please, everybody, have a really good night. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Again, if you come late, rewatch, let me know what you think. I'm open to feedback as long as it's respectful. And then I will probably see you again tomorrow. I try to go live every day at 6 p.m. Some days I skip because I'm not feeling well, and then some days I'll change the timing, but everything will show up in the notifications. So hopefully everything sounded good and you guys liked the songs and the music and maybe had a laugh. All right, everybody have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow on the flip side. Be safe, eat well. Your health comes before everything. Without your health, you have nothing else. Think about it. And I'll see everybody next time. Cool? All right. Bye.